Thank you, Professor Berry. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We will now move on to our next speaker. And I want to make sure I say the name correctly. Is it Shaunesi DeBerry? Miss DeBerry?
It's Shaunesi. How are you?
Shaunesi. Thank you. Hi, I'm fine. Good evening. Thank you
Hi.
for joining us.
Thank you so much. I wanted to give you a little shout out. I see you went to Morgan State. I went to St. Augustine University in North Carolina, so HBCU pride, because we could not a couple of years ago. So shout out to all of our ancestors. I get a lot of kickback because of my political views, but at the end of the day, we are all still family. Thank you guys so much for allowing me time to speak tonight. Thank you so much for responding to my emails. It was very informative to hear the other callers. I think that what I want to lead with, I'm going to shift away from a few things. What I want to lead with is that I think that my first suggestion to this commission is you guys have a lot of people that have titles like Miss Berry and respectfully Miss Hillard, but I don't believe either one of them have ever had a mugshot. I don't believe that any of them have been rightfully or wrongfully arrested. And this is no disrespect. I hope I can be as transparent and use my First Amendment for 1 second because I only got 5 minutes. The thing about it is that people who have had to be on the other side, whether it was right or wrong, whether they did the crime or they didn't, we are more experienced in actually having to go through this stuff from the other side. And I think that what your commission honestly lacks, in addition to your budget and addition to qualified commissioners, and that's not for all of you guys, but a few of y'all are on my list of who put you there. The main question is, how can we create a better resolve and stop focusing on race and stop focusing on what we want to change as it relates to sentencing when we don't even have, because your mission is about fairness, proportion, making sure everything is outlined the correct way. I have 4 different worksheets. Y'all have one of my worksheets. The one worksheet you have is from 2 months after the sentencing. That worksheet is not signed. That worksheet has a more attention disorder than just about every child in class with 504 and IEP. All right. And the problem with that is that if that happened in my case, and let me just say while I'm hyping myself up, because a couple of years ago, my people couldn't do this. I believe, I don't know the data on it. Y'all can go check. I'm one of the only women of color in the Arundel County, Home of Brady versus Maryland, that self-litigated and got a partial acquittal on my own. So on February the 21st, 2023, what I needed from the Sentencing Guidelines Commission or whatever y'all name is I needed a automatic, because I believe David does the website. I needed to get a welcome. We see that you lost one of your a part of your case. Here's Megs. Log in here so you can see what this probation agent is about to recommend for you, because this judge gave a PSI, which is wasting tax dollars, just like pretrial release and all of that other stuff. But here you can see it because you're self-litigating. Right there, understand the commission, the policy, the guidelines, maybe my due process a little bit about what was about to happen next. Because what happened next goes on everybody on the phone's tax dollars. And notice I haven't said no titles. They don't care. They don't discriminate when they start doing this stuff, right? It's just money, 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 because this industry is a cash cow. So for me, my recommendations to you guys would be to make sure that, first of all, that you get into the digital era. It's 2025. A lot of people are self-litigating. A lot of us are actually getting through this thing and we're winning it. I won't go into detail because David asked me not to, and I got to give y'all a little elevator pitch. I won't really go into detail about my case. But what I will tell you is that with 4 sentencing guidelines worksheets, one no signature on the one that you guys have. What else is going on there? The delay in it, like, you guys need to get more feedback from everyday individuals. I would argue that Wes Moore, Anthony G. Brown, Miss Dorian, I've been emailing you since 2022. I would argue that y'all need to get out in the community and actually start getting people who have hands-on success and getting through this mess and ask us for feedback so that we can take this and say, you know what? This is what we're going to do if Miss Berry actually wants to focus on race. Because while we were on the phone, I got a text message that she held somebody for 4 months. And I don't know how true that is, but when we started talking about race, I started getting a little passionate because people of color have worked very hard in Maryland for this stuff. And we're sitting here on here and we got the numbers allegedly but there's a lot of stuff that's contradicting. Numbers don't lie. I come from over 20 years of tech support, telecommunications. I probably installed a lot of the services that you guys are working off of right now. When you can't tell me why 4 worksheets exist, when you can't tell me why a judge departed, when you can't tell me why a self-represented litigant does not have immediate access to that stuff, I don't want an attorney because I don't need an attorney. I am the attorney. So because of that, I need to be able to understand my stuff so I can self-litigate. I want to make sure that I make it very clear that you guys need to get up to date with self-represented litigants. You don't have to give us legal advice. We don't need, trust me, we don't want y'all advice. What I need is to be able to see the guidelines worksheet because, and y'all let her go over 42 seconds, so let me get mine. On February the 21st, the probation agent, because you guys keep hyping up Maryland probation and parole, who I believe, or Carolyn Schwartz, I don't believe they're here tonight. The probation agent, when I asked her why my worksheet was off and why my PSI was off, she went and put a restraining order on me. And if y'all would have had mags again, mind you, I didn't do anything to the lady, but that's just what happens when you are Black, young, and educated. And so with that being said, y'all want to talk about race, let's make sure that we are implementing stuff that's actually for real results for real people. One last thing before I get off the phone. I have 4 sentencing guidelines worksheets, and all 4 of them say unknown for whether or not I'm Hispanic or not. I don't know if somebody getting paid for that or what's going on. Como se dice, let's get some equality and due process around here. Y'all have a great one.